Welcome to Faith Fiction and or Folklore, or the Tri-F podcast where we try not to F it up. Anyways,
What are we talking about today, Trevor?
I was getting there.
Okay.
We are talking about dire wolves, skinwalkers, and whatever else we can come up with.
Okay.
And today, tonight, tomorrow, any day that ends in Y, I have Gary and Cody with me to share in this endeavor. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. That
Nicely
was a very dramatic intro for us. You gave us more credit than we deserve.
I give credit to where credit is due.
There you go. Thank you.
Speaking of, it's dad joke time.
Oh, gosh
my
dang
God.
it. Okay,
You better
one.
make it quick.
Hurry. Let's book it. Let's book it.
Up.
He is booking it, literally.
Where does a fish keep its money?
I don't care.
On the riverbank.
Oh, damn it. That's a mess.
All
right, so what the hell?
Time. Okay.
What the hell is a dire wolf?
Yeah, all
boys?
right.
So is this a
What?
a dire wolf is a ancient wolf that is extinct. So they're just wolves, but they died off because they went extinct.
So it's a
Anyways.
woolly mammoth dog.
It's a very big wolf, very
Okay.
big. Like if you've ever watched Game of Thrones,
I've not.
it's just a wolf, but it's a bigger wolf.
Okay. Like
So-
the size of a car?
Yeah, just about.
Nice. Nice.
It's a really big wolf.
Just a horse
Anyways,
wolf.
These scientists have resurrected, as the video talks about, using their scientifical stuff,
Scientific stuff, yeah.
And anyways, I thought this was cool.
All right.
This is from Mike's Stories. Is that right?
Yeah, Mike's stories.
Yeah. He tells pretty good stuff.
Sweet. Are we ready?
He does. Yeah. Play it.
Okay.
Now this is a crazy story.
What the?
I'm not convinced, Trevor.
Those are newborns.
Oh. They
I
look
thought
like
you said they were the
wolves.
size of a car.
No, they're brand new. They just
Oh.
last week or something.
I'm
like that.
telling you, this is a gimmick.
Within the last couple weeks, have.
I'm telling you, in 2 months, it's gonna be like, well, they're like
They
miniature
died.
dire wolves. I don't know what happened.
Well, we were gonna make them bigger, but they got to the purple, man.
They got into the purple, and then they,
Yeah, this video explains it
You
better,
know.
but they basically took gray wolves, regular gray wolves, and mixed from like Jurassic Park. You know how they took the sample from ancient dinosaurs. They
Uh-huh.
took samples from old ancient wolves, dire wolves, and injected them into, I guess, the gray wolf.
I feel like there's a sound clip that could go really well with this.
Yes, I know. I was wondering. That's a good segue. This is very subtle, very smooth. Thank you for that. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Simply saying that life finds a way.
Ooh,
And by life, we mean scientists
I got cold chills.
or embezzlers. But anyway,
Yeah, so this sounds like, and I've already said this, but I'm going to say it again because it's great. This has as much validity as spiral columns under the Egyptian pyramids.
I'm still a
And
believer.
by that, I mean not much.
I'm still a believer. Those pyramids were a battery or some kind of radio tower thing.
I agree with that, but I don't think there's things under them.
It's hard to believe like that, like the size of the Empire State Building or just a little bit shorter. Like that's pretty dramatic. That's pretty dramatic. But who
I don't
knows? Who knows?
Is that a short joke?
I'm short myself. I can't make short jokes. So that'd be called self-loathing. Anyway.
which is quite funny sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, here we go.
That's so cute.
I showed
saying
him
I'm
the
not a
video of them
direwolf.
howling. He started tearing up. He goes, "This is the first time I've heard a direwolf, or anyone's heard a direwolf in 10,000 years." He
God.
physically, emotionally got chills and started crying.
Meet Remus.
Remus and Romulus,
They
are you
named
kidding
him
me?
after Rome. Really? Oh
Uh,
my gosh. Walking cliche much?
And Romulus.
We'll just wait
Oh
for the
my-
third one.
this is ridiculous.
Just wait for the third
yeah,
one.
yeah, this is ridiculous.
The first two direwolves since the Pleistocene era.
We turn now to that remarkable scientific
What?
breakthrough. 13,000 years after the last dire wolf walked the earth, scientists
How
say
do you
they've now
know?
brought them back.
You know they're just gonna grow up to be regular wolves, and everybody's be like, "We
Yeah.
don't know what happened." And imagine the money they're gonna get in this 3-month span of time before everybody figures out they're full of crap, and then they're gonna
wait.
move to Guam, and
Just
Oh,
wait
just
until you
waiting?
hear the third name of the third.
oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
We thought if we could do something that could bring back the direwolf, also help wolf conservation and bring people from like sci-fi, fantasy, and kids more into science and into the conversation around conservation,
This is
we thought it
Jurassic
was a
Park.
cool idea, but we had no idea if we could pull it off.
What did you say?
That guy just sounded like he was petitioning to build Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're wanting to do that. They're wanting to bring back mammoths and other ancient creatures.
I mean,
I hope they do it.
cool.
I hope they
Cool.
do it. Because then something horrible is going to happen, and everybody's going to be like, how did we not see this coming?
Yeah.
So,
Dude,
don't know.
I honestly think that all these like you heard like the ligers, they used to be around
Oh, yeah, likers.
and they quit breeding them, and then they had like Tasmanian devils. I think all these animals that we hear about that went extinct, they're all chimeras that we've made,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just die out eventually because they're not natural.
I think Owen Benjamin made a good case for the panda. I think he's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I think he's right.
Oh,
It's
I do
just
too.
some spliced
Pandas are
thing.
super fake.
Yeah, I imagine though. I mean, I don't know, but I'm thinking. See, now my voice is actually cracking. You're killing me. That karma, man.
Why is your voice cracking?
Because he made me do an RFK impersonation, and now I'm paying for it. So,
My name is Robert F. Kennedy.
Because you cracked a joke?
well, anyway.
I think there might be a little bit of human in pigs, to be honest.
Well, that's the thing is these guys will sit there and they'll just DNA splice, and if they can like graft like one part of a DNA molecule onto another species, and it becomes that species. So this is like 99.9% gray wolf and 1% dire wolf
Yeah.
that they just grafted in. I mean, it's
You're right.
not. Yeah, it's not that impressive, and it's only going to be a dire wolf in name, not actually a dire wolf.
Yeah.
So,
That makes it a dire situation.
but this guy is going to make a killing in the meantime, almost like that dad joke killed my soul.
Oh, nice segue.
Thank you.
Is there dead dire wolves that were trapped in permafrost, or is
No.
Scientists.
Exclusively on ESPN Plus.
Hey, look at that.
UFC 314, a stacked card live from Miami. ESPN Plus subscribers can stream.
Just brought back a
Scientists
creature that
are
hasn't
good.
walked the earth in
Sorry. That's your karma, Cody. Or actually, that's Providence. Because he was like, no, there were no frozen dire wolves. And then the thing just goes, scientists, cut to ad. That was beautiful. I'm probably the only one who caught it, but that was beautiful.
Synchronicities are off the charts.
You're off the chart.
Thank you.
thousands of years. A real-life dire wolf.
At just 15 days old, the pups take their first wobbly steps before a much-needed nap time.
Thanks to some mind-blowing
bite everyone's
advances
head off.
in genetic
Huh?
And then they bit everybody's head off because they were the size of a car.
I hope I'm wrong. They become the size of a car, and yeah. Oh my gosh.
science, researchers have used ancient DNA from fossilized bones to recreate key genetic traits of the dire wolf. They edited modern gray wolf DNA, implanted the edited embryos into domestic dog surrogates, and just like that, 3 healthy pups were born.
Half direwolf, half cocker spaniel. It's even worse than I thought.
Their names, Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
There he
Khaleesi?
goes.
they couldn't be bothered to come up with a third historical name, so they just went straight to Game of Thrones.
Khaleesi
okay.
is queen in what language? From
I
Game of
don't
Thrones?
care.
I don't care.
It means the queen mother. Is that right?
That's stupid.
In Game of Thrones, it's like,
In Game
yeah,
of Thrones,
mother
yeah.
of dragon or something stupid. So, all right. Is there anything else you want us to see from this video, Mr. Trevor? Or can we go to Skinwalkers? Because that's kind of, we're wanting to do a Skinwalker Ranch episode, so this would be a good segue into that.
Yeah, keep playing it.
Keep
There
playing
was
it.
another part
All
that
right.
was very interesting.
Did
I
they
forgot
name?
where it's at, though.
Did they name the dad Drogo?
That's the pup.
Yeah, so this is so that's actually Romulus we have two boys, Romulus and Remus, founders of Rome, and then we
It gets more
Yeah,
ridiculous
thank
every
you.
time
We
I hear
didn't
him
know
say
that.
it. It's like, wow, what an intellectual.
Yeah, just yeah.
You know who Romulus and Remus are? Wow.
He must have genetically spliced dire wolves. I mean, there's no other way.
we have Khaleesi, who's the new girl. So this is Romulus and Remus.
And for the first time in what scientists call over 10,000 years, something very close to a dire wolf is running around again.
3 months in, the pups
Did you catch that caveat? Very close to a dire wolf. Translation: not a dire wolf. English is. Learn English, guys. That's all I know to say.
begin socialization, a key phase in their development. Weaning starts gradually, while play sharpens their instincts and strengthens their bonds.
Here's how it happened. The team behind this breakthrough is Colossal Biosciences, the same company trying to bring back the woolly mammoth. They extracted DNA from 2 direwolf fossils, a supposedly 13,000-year-old tooth,
I would sooner believe that woolly mammoths still exist than to believe that the people leading this crap will actually make one.
I think I might actually believe that woolly mammoths still exist.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think there was like actually some recorded footage of like one in the late, like right back when film first came out. So it had been like early 1900s. So.
Yeah, that was the part I kind of wanted you to see was the people are trying to bring back mammoths and there's other creatures that he shows on here.
Well, it's a semantics game thing, and you know Alex Jones's theory on this stuff is so much more nefarious. Like if you can just get people accustomed to the idea of like vaguely, basically calling things whatever you want to call them based on like one genetic trait that you've managed to splice into another gene, then you can call something that isn't a human and something that's human not a human. And so eventually you can, you know, justify things like organ harvesting and that kind of thing. Like that's what this is. You're just going to introduce the concept and play these stupid semantic games so that when it comes time to actually like, you know, breed people and kill them, we won't call them people, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. I heard that was one of the things about I mean, this is all, I think it's stupid and made up at this point, but back when the COVID thing came out, it was like the mRNA idea was like it changes your DNA so that you're no longer, because you can't patent anything that's made in nature, right? So it's like once they modify your DNA, then they can patent you or whatever.
Yeah, in practical terms, it's stupid, but it's just a way to justify legal semantics.
Yeah,
You know?
Or they put nanotechnology in everything.
I don't think they're that smart.
Banana technology.
Oh, I've got a video on that too.
Oh, I think they tried and it just turned to cancer and killed people. You know.
That's what typically happens.
Yeah. I mean, the body rejects it and you die, but then they say we did something. So, all right.
Switch to Skinwalkers.
All right, let's switch to Skinwalkers.
Skinwalkers.
One
Bob
more
Life.
time because I'm bored.
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
And by life, we mean lawyers. Okay.
Oh,
Bob Larson.
all right.
All right, what has to say?
I'll have you play his intro, and then he'll do his Bob Larson. So we gotta skip that because it's like 4 minutes long.
Okay. All right.
So play.
All right.
Throughout the ages, and especially in more recent times, a pseudo-belief system called cryptozoology has developed. It's similar to the idea of lycanthropy. That's humans turning into werewolves. Another name for this phenomenon is cryptid. That refers to the belief that out there somewhere in the wild there are creatures whose existence is unsubstantiated by science. That's like the so-called Yeti, the abominable snowman. Now, some are looking for evidence of half-human, half-animal skinwalkers.
Is he conflating skinwalkers with, like, just regular cryptids?
No, Skinwalker is like a giant dude with antlers, but I think they're shapeshifters.
Yeah, I think they're shapeshifters, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a type of shapeshifters, which he's putting into the category of cryptid.
Oh.
This is Bob Larson's view on it. So
Wasn't he Catholic? Like, didn't Montague Summers? Well, I was under the impression there was a monk that, like, labeled all this stuff as varying types of demonology.
yeah,
So I'm a little surprised he'd be rejecting that, but I don't know, maybe it's changed. What do I know? I'm not Catholic, so.
I say the skinwalkers are just another demonic trick of Satan to get our eyes off God and onto weird things that draw people into witchcraft and the occult. Be warned, if you see a skinwalker, you'll want to do what I say in this podcast. Hi, I'm
Pull
Bob
out your
Larson.
9 and get
Alright.
that.
skip to 420.
Did he just, like, threaten us? Like, was that a moral decree or a hook?
It was a hook.
I just want to make sure. That sounded a little hokey to me.
He is hokey.
He's a little hokey, but he's based.
It's a base.
You know what's not
Hey, look,
based?
an ad.
Ads. Thanks,
No, that's
Adobe,
AI.
for screwing up our live stream earlier tonight.
Moment ago. It's called cryptid. The idea that there are undiscovered creatures unsubstantiated by science. True science calls this belief system known as cryptozoology a pseudoscience. It's not to be taken seriously. But with mass media in the 20th century, this
Well, I don't take science seriously at this point, so anyway.
This is Todd White.
Crud.
I recently
My mistake.
werewolves. Another name. But the idea of a skinwalker takes supernatural sightings much further. One published account of a skinwalker
the
that I read
Loch
went
Ness
like
part.
this.
What?
You skipped the Loch Ness part.
Oh, you want me to go back to the Loch Ness thing?
He just talks about how it's fake.
Well, I'm assuming based on his tone, he thinks all men are cryptid or fake.
Oh yeah, he does. It's
Well,
all
we're going to have
demonic
to
and-
sit there and defend them now. We need to get people who've actually seen this stuff on here just to be cantankerous. But anyway.
This, and I'm quoting directly from it. A man named James was driving through the back roads of Arizona late at night. The only light came from his headlights and the occasional full moon slipping through the clouds. As he drove, he noticed a coyote standing by the road. It was standing on its hind legs. The creature had
This guy's snarkier than I am.
long, thin arms and glowing yellow eyes. A feeling of dread washed over him. James sped up, but a moment later he heard something pounding on the roof of his truck. When he looked in the rearview mirror, the thing was running alongside his vehicle, on all fours, keeping pace at 60 miles an hour. Then, just as suddenly...
I'm sorry, you said Loch Ness Monster, and then I thought the thing was knocking on his door going, "Can I have 350?
You need about 350.
350.
That dang old Loch Ness monster was asking me for 350.
As it had appeared, it veered off into the darkness. He didn't stop until he reached his uncle's house and told him he had seen a skinwalker. The uncle warned him never to speak its name out loud. Doing so could draw the skinwalker back to him. That night outside his...
Can I call it a flesh wearer?
A flesh wearer? A flesh jogger?
A flesh jogger?
An epidermis stroller.
A pelt pacer. How's that work?
That's a good one. Keep the pace with the pedal.
Oh, nice.
When he heard whispering in a strange language, he never took that road at night again.
Ooh, good thing too. It's a good thing too.
Yeah, I might have asked him for $350.
Yeah.
Stop.
Similar beliefs exist in other Native American traditions. Some paranormal enthusiasts take skinwalkers very seriously. Many people interested in the supernatural believe skinwalkers are tied to cryptid sightings. This is especially true in rural communities in the southwestern part of the United States. There are areas like Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. They've become famous for alleged encounters. In Navajo culture, skinwalkers are said to be evil witches who gain dark powers by breaking cultural taboos, like harming family members. Many Navajos refuse to even speak the name Skinwalker. They won't say it out loud. They believe it can attract more skinwalkers. People who have encountered one often describe the fast-moving, unnatural creature, screaming voices, and a deep sense of fear and dread. Many on social media argue that half-human, half-demonic beings must exist. These myths have persisted throughout history. Example. The Minotaur in the labyrinth was half bull and half human. The Philistines worshipped the
I know that
god
guy.
Dagon.
Huh?
I just said I know that guy.
Oh, yeah.
I've dealt with that demon. Half human, half fish. But shape-shifting, like skinwalkers, is a different matter. That idea suggests that human beings can suddenly shift into a ferocious animal on all fours. In Africa, some people believe in the existence of a lion man, a witch doctor morphing back and forth between a lion and a human. Holly occult developed Buddhist lamas in Tibet claim the same powers. Are such things real, and should we even bother discussing them? Do demons have the ability to take on both animal and human form and switch between the two? We know that Satan has the power to take inanimate objects and turn them into living things. We see this with Pharaoh's magicians when they sought to duplicate the miracle of Moses and turned their rods into snakes. Throughout history, there have been stories of idols becoming animated, but this is mostly the stuff of legends.
This sounds so clean, it's insane. And like, imagine how much you can do with this. It's great.
What the devil can and can't do. All right, let's see.
Come on, Bob.
In my many years as an exorcist, I've learned something. When I think that Satan can't do something, he does it. I'm not talking about the violation of basic spiritual laws and the rules of an exorcism, which is executed by the authority
I'll be right
of Christ.
back, gents.
I'm speaking of phenomenal events in everyday
bye.
life.
Have a beautiful
When
time.
people deliberately tap into the darkest part of Satan's kingdom, there is supernatural power beyond human imagination accompanying Satan's activity. Well, of course, the devil is not omnipotent, nor is he omniscient. These are distinctions only the Lord God possesses, but the devil can mimic the attributes of the Almighty. Only God is a creator. Satan can't create ex nihilo, that is, out of nothing. But the devil can manipulate energy and matter in ways that no scientist can understand. Satan's apparently capable of transmuting forms by changing back and forth energy and matter, such as the appearance of UFOs, which I believe is a good example of that. And furthermore, whatever visible forms of the devil may appear, whether in actuality or by manipulation of the observer's perception, the devil makes unreality appear real. That could include an animal morphing into a human or vice versa. Or it might be paranormal feats, such as those described by people who say they've seen skinwalkers. What the devil can't do, though, is duplicate mercy, grace, and love. Forgiveness of sin alone is in God's hands. Changing a human into a coyote or back to a human is not to be compared with the sacrificial atonement of the cross and the bodily resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. And in a moment, my surprising conclusion about Skinwalkers.
I bet it's going to surprise us a lot.
I don't know. It might surprise us.
Yeah. Shocking. In a moment.
Christians believe that each person's spirit is immortal, but not in an undetermined dislocation. Heaven or hell are the only biblical destinations. Thus, ancestor worship and veneration, these are not Christian options. There's some controversy surrounding 1 Samuel 28, when King Saul asked the witch of Endor to call up the spirit of the prophet Samuel. Whether or not it really was the deceased prophet, that's been debated endlessly. But here is what's not contested. That attempted conjuration cost Saul his kingdom and his life, as prophesied in 1 Samuel 28:19.
Too bad we'll never get there in the house of David.
I wonder if they'll play that in season 2.
They ain't even going to get to that season.
I wonder if that's what the witch is for.
He'll probably be asking for his wife from the grave. Anyway.
Was that one chick, the Witch of Endor?
The Witch of Endor. Oh, you think the girl's the Witch of Endor?
It was just a thought. What if she is, and they're just keeping her character there for that part?
Well, that would make sense-ish. That would justify her existence. But anyway, did I miss anything of consequence?
Not really. No.
Not really. I didn't think so. Okay.
Huh?
All right. Ew! Sorry.
It's so gross.
All right.
It was declared that Saul and his sons would be killed the next day. Two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon, and he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. He performs great signs so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the beast and its image to be killed. Perhaps there will be some kind of super bot that takes artificial intelligence to another level. But such things are not quite the same as a skinwalker. Even if the devil can't cause a human being to suddenly become a ferocious animal, the idea that such things exist creates fear, and that fear causes cultures that believe in skinwalkers to seek witchcraft as the antidote for stopping such things. It's common in American Indian communities that believe in skinwalkers to have rituals and substances to ward off skinwalkers. This may include sage, herbs, ashes, as a means of preventing a skinwalker from bringing terror. So
could it be one of those substances that are causing them to see a skinwalker?
The purple.
It's the purple.
It's the purple, man.
It's the purple, man. So, all right. Okay.
So moral of the story is, all we have to fear is fear itself.
That's actually a pretty good summation. I think that's about right. Yeah. What do you think, Trevor? Is there something else you're wanting us to see? Because he's evidently saying that there aren't skinwalkers, which I don't know if I buy.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. I don't have an opinion on them, really.
My opinion is, if you get enough people believing in something, aka skinwalkers, Bigfoot,
the Dallas Cowboys to win a game.
The Dallas Cowboys to win a game.
Don't be just ludicrous, Cody.
Yeah. People are going to start manifesting it in their heads, and they're going to start seeing it. So, like UFOs, you know.
Well, I don't know. I think the thing that does frustrate me about this is I tend to, I'm very dubious of science and institutions and people with agendas, but ironically, I do find rednecks and trailers much more compelling in terms of their, you know, I would believe their story before I'd believe some statisticians.
Cody, you got
Myself.
bullfrogs in your room again?
Yeah, my chair's squeaky.
I was just gonna try to run past it, but we're calling it out. Ew. So.
Yeah,
no.
I'm unapologetic.
Well, let's wrap up on some closing thoughts about the subject, though. So, because if we do talk about the Skinwalker thing next week, I'm assuming we're going to be going over anecdotal accounts, trying to analyze whether or not we believe, trying to evaluate what their story and decide whether or not we believe them. So, I mean, I don't know. For myself, I do think that people have to be seeing something.
Oh yeah.
Like there has to be, even if it isn't, even if the story isn't exactly right, there has to be some element of truth in it in order for other people to catch on. So, like the vampire thing. I don't know if there are vampires or not, but I do think something had to be going on to create all those firsthand accounts. I don't think they're just legends from stupid people. Oh, yeah. I don't know what they are, but I don't think it's just stupid people.
There is stuff out there, and it's hard to perceive exactly what it is because it's stories and legends, and very few people. There are people that catch it on camera, but not the full form of what picked on pictures and stuff.
Do you believe in Mothman?
I mean, he might have been real. It might have been like a CIA thing.
I think it was the CIA.
I mean, that doesn't say much for me though. Like, everything's a CIA to me.
Well,
it's just my default
CIA
answer. Yeah, I mean, it could have been. I mean, I've heard people make claims that like vampires and werewolves are actually like demonic manifestations as a result of a ceremony. Like you can become a vampire, you can become a werewolf, you can become those things through like the occult, like high level Satan stuff or whatever. And I don't know what I think about it myself, but I just don't like discounting people. And when you're getting into all this demonic stuff, and we don't know. We don't know what's possible, what's not possible. I do think it's reasonable to say that, in America, the better tactic seems to be to act like, there's nothing there. But that's kind of changing, though, too. So, for a long time, it was people wouldn't even talk about supernatural experiences because they were so stigmatized. Like, I'm old enough to remember that when I was a kid, if you saw something weird, you didn't say anything about it.
Nope.
Because people mocked you and thought you were nuts relentlessly. Now it's kind of normal to talk about it. But yeah, when we were kids,
because of weird people on the internet.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know. It was kind of. I mean, I'm old enough before the internet existed, so the first time I remember it actually being talked about publicly was like a John Hagee sermon. Some people were relaying, like somebody relayed their account, and John Hagee relayed somebody's account and stuff that he was dealing with, or I don't know if it was him or a friend of his or something like that. But that was the first time I'd ever even heard of stuff like that talked about in a sermon, because you just didn't do that back when I was a kid. Now it's like everybody and their dog is wanting to see something, so it's more likely people will make crap up. But you kept your mouth shut when I was younger. When that stuff happened, like you did not talk about it. Period. So, what do you think, Mr. Trevor?
That's good.
Oh no, I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
If you saw something scary or whatever, and you brought it up to anybody, they'd be like, "Oh, that's not real," or just tell it to go away in Jesus' name, and it'll all be fine. Okay, well, why does it keep coming back? Why do I keep having these dreams?
Yeah.
And people would just be like,
behavior patterns.
"Oh, you're crazy." Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you get rid of the demon, and then you continue the same behavior patterns, then it comes back.
I'm talking about before all that. When I was 6, 7.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Are you guys old enough? Hold on. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Yeah, thanks. Do you guys remember when nobody believed in giant squid?
Yeah.
But people kept saying there were giant squid. And then finally there was recordings of it. And people had to admit that giant squid existed.
Now it's a thing.
Now it's just
They're
normal.
pretty big.
Yeah, they are pretty big. They are pretty big. And you could see some sailor, getting a proportion wrong or something. You could see how those legends would come about because those things do get large. Mm-hmm. They take out sperm whales. Well, people thought squids were 8 inches long when we were kids.
Yeah.
That's why I don't believe this guy, because it's we've in our own lifetime we've seen cryptids proven to be real. So I'm a little more inclined to believe people's accounts. I mean, no, I don't think you need to be relying on the occult, because it's kind of it's like asking a demon to get rid of his brother George. I mean, he ain't going to do that, so.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've kicked this dead horse enough. Anybody got any final thoughts?
Nope. No, I think we're good.
All right, so we're done kicking the dead demonic horse. All right. So, one more episode to go. We are moving on to episode 4. This is end of episode 3. So, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.